going well for her as of late.
I'm here with women's Bonnie's guard, Asia Johnson. Asia, thanks for taking the time to speak with us today.
It's no problem, man.
You scored double-digit points in 70% of the games so far this season. What do you attribute that kind of success to?
Just being in the gym every day. Like, even if I had 20, I was still in the gym the next day. It's always about perfecting my craft.
You seem to have the ability to take over games in the fourth quarter. Like against GW, you outscored GW 12-6 by yourself in that game. What about the fourth quarter brings out the best in your game?
The fourth quarter is go time. Like, it's game time. Like, especially like before the fourth quarter comes, we always say the last 10. And the last 10 determines the game. So the last 5, the last 2 minutes, it doesn't really matter. But if you put everything that you have into those last 10 minutes, then you can come out with a W.
Now when I watch you, I can see the fire and passion in your face when you're taking the ball to the basket. What kind of brings out that tenacity in you?
Just from where I'm from New York, Brooklyn. Every day I walk onto the court and I have just the mindset that I'm gonna go for anything that's in front of me. Like, and whoever that opponent is, I feel bad for them.
Now you have Rhode Island coming up on Sunday. Last time you played them, you had half the team's points in the fourth quarter, leading to a 21-point career night for you. What do you think the team's mindset is heading into that one?
It's still the same mindset as before. It really doesn't matter who's on the court, who's not playing. We just have to win.
All right, thank you for taking time to talk with us, Asia. Hello, everybody, and welcome to SBU TV Sports. I'm Ryan Bolin. Well, March 12, 2020 was one of the most impactful days in sports history, as collegiate athletics and professional sports leagues across the world continue to take a hit as a result of the growing concerns of the coronavirus. College basketball being one of the first sports to face the brunt of the impact, including the Atlantic 10 Conference. VCU and UMass were minutes away from their noon tip inside the Barclays Center when the A-10 announced their decision to cancel the tournament. St. Bonaventure was among the remaining 12 teams in the conference that potentially had their postseason dreams dashed. The Bonnies came into the tournament as a 5 seed and were scheduled to play the 12 seed George Mason. The A-10 is one of 20 conferences that canceled their tournaments, with the Ivy League being the first to make that decision back on Tuesday.
Conferences that knock off Nevada.
And you can forget about filling out your March Madness brackets next week because the NCAA has decided to cancel the men's and women's basketball tournaments. Hours after conference tournament cancellations began to flood in, the NCAA followed suit and released an official statement on Twitter canceling March Madness. The NCAA released this statement less than 24 hours after they decided to continue the tournament with limited attendance. According to Forbes, the NCAA has the most profitable postseason television deal in sports, has an average of $771 million a year from CBS and Turner Broadcasting for March Madness. While the cancellation of March Madness has drawn majority of the headlines, the toll the coronavirus has taken on the pro circuit has been even greater than at the collegiate level. Commissioner Adam Silver announced that the NBA has been suspended for at least 30 days following the first diagnosis of the coronavirus in the league. Rudy Gobert of the Utah Jazz tested positive for COVID-19 Wednesday night. The 27-year-old center has been under fire recently after a video circulated showing Gobert purposely touching all the microphones and tape recorders at the end of his session with reporters following Monday's game against the Toronto Raptors. Shortly after the diagnosis, Silver made the decision to suspend the league. Thursday morning, fellow Utah Jazz star Donovan Mitchell also tested positive. Bono alum Adrian Wojnarowski reported that several Jazz players claimed Gobert had been carelessly touching teammates and their belongings in the locker room. The NBA was just the first domino to fall that sent a string of professional leagues to suspend play. With just 3.5 weeks remaining in the regular season, the NHL suspended play with hopes to resume the season in the future. 2 minutes later, ESPN reported that Major League Baseball would delay the start of the 2020 regular season by 2 weeks while also suspending spring training. The XFL was one of the last 2 professional leagues to hold out, along with the PGA Tour. However, the XFL announced Thursday night they would cancel the season, but the players will still be paid their base pay and benefits. Ticket holders will also receive refunds or credit toward future games. The PGA Tour was the final league to fall, announcing late Thursday night they would be canceling the remaining 3 rounds of the Players' Championship, as well as shutting down its other tournaments for the next 3 weeks. While major sporting events will no doubt be hard to come by for the next few weeks, it's not a bad time to be a racing fan. NASCAR announced their plan to continue with this weekend's race at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and the upcoming race at Homestead Miami Speedway will go on as well. However, there will be no fans in attendance for either race. Races following this weekend will be determined at a later date. Stay tuned on our social media outlets as we will be providing updates as more information becomes available to us on both the professional and collegiate level. That's all from this Wild Week in Sports. I'm Ryan Bolin. Thank you for tuning in. Back to you, Maddie and Zach.